Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to call to order the City Council Successor Agency Finance Power Authority meeting. Roll call, please.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Johnson. Present. Mann.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Terparis. We have a quorum.
Call the Housing Authority. Roll call.
Housing Authority Member Harvey. Mann.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Chair Zetto. We have a quorum.
Okay, the invocation is by the Redeemed Christian Church. Do we have the representative here? Would everyone please rise?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Pastor Dami Suleodu. Father, we thank you. We thank you for such a time as this. We thank you because we believe that you are the one that institutes governance and leadership in every aspect of man's life. And we recognize that we have no power of our own to do anything for ourselves unless you give us the power to do it. I therefore call on behalf of the City Council, members of our city, all the people who live in our community, friends and loved ones, strangers, and call upon you to come, even as our city leaders deliberate over the affairs of our city today. You have required from all of us to call, and that you will hear and answer us if we call from a pure heart. I therefore stand in representation of our city people today to ask that you come and help us in our city, especially during this deliberation by our city people. I pray you will give our leaders the wisdom from above to be able to deliberate wisely in the leadership affairs of our city. I also pray your blessings upon our city and upon everyone that is here today. So we pray it in Jesus' name. And everybody say amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. I'm going to have the Cub Scouts from Pack 86. Would you come up and do the pledge for us, please?
Everyone in uniform, face the flag. Everyone in uniform, hand salute. Everyone else, right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2.
Great job. And if you guys will wait there, we have some certificates for you. And it's my understanding, Gavin? Who's Gavin? Gavin Sorensen? It's your birthday. From the city of Lancaster, we wish you a happy birthday. So we're going to come down there and give
We're
you...
going to sing happy birthday.
I think we should.
Yeah, let's sing happy.
Let's sing him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gavin. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
So these young gentlemen came and toured the city of Lancaster today. Most of them wanted to work here, but we said there'd have to be a couple more years before they could get started. So we want to thank them, and we appreciate it. So our councilwoman's going to help us.
Thank you very much. So we're going to acknowledge them today for being here. And again, Gavin, I envy you for being so young today on your birthday. So we're going to go ahead and take pictures. And as we said, parents, if you'd like to come and take pictures, please feel free to do so. So, Aiden? Anthony? Ben? Kalajiro? Did I say that right? No, sorry. That's an honest man right there.
Tell her how to pronounce.
How do you say your name, sweetheart?
Kalojiro.
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 Kalojiro. There you go. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Eric?
You got that one right.
Yeah. Evan? Birthday boy, Gavin?
Gavin.
Gavin, how old are you today? 9. 9. Do we remember 9? Wow. Joseph? Kyle? Oh, Kyle's not here. Thank you. Logan? Thanks.
There you go.
Nick? It's not him?
Oh, that's the other Logan.
Is the other Logan here? Logan Clark?
No, Logan Clark's not here.
Oh,
Logan Ferguson.
okay. Nick? We'll get to you soon. Which one's Logan? Okay, we'll get to you soon. Raiden?
Get us?
Logan number 2? Oh, actually, Logan number 1. There you go. That's right. Eli?
Eli.
Thank you so much. That helps. Zach? Let's give them all a big round of applause, please. Wonderful young men.
I'm going to stand behind it.
Okay, you two.
So we want 2 rows.
I want the 2 cups in front.
Sandra?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, the city manager. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good. Hang on. Are you good? Thank you.
I thought our spouse was going to be here.
He will be.
You just have to share with you, they had the most amazing questions for us. It was worse than being in a debate when we're running. So, again, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
City manager, any items be removed?
No, sir.
Okay. City council, can we do the commissions without the mayor?
Yes. Yes, we can.
how do you want to do it? Do you want to do it as a group or as individual groups, and starting with the Planning Commission?
I would recommend going by group, so Planning Commission, then Architecture and Design, Criminal Justice, then
Okay.
Neighborhood Vitalization.
Okay, we're going to start, we need the vote on new appointees. So the Lancaster Planning Commission, the mayor has nominated Dr. Miguel Coronado. I will second that motion.
Okay.
Any discussion? Let's vote. Miguel, it's 4-0. Okay, we're going to swear you guys in, so don't go anywhere.
Question for you, or do we have to, since the mayor said he was reappointing everybody,
Isn't
don't
that
we
a
have
vote?
to appoint
Yes, we
everybody
do.
on the commission?
Yes.
We do have to do that, I believe.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion for the reappointments of Jim Vos, Diana Cook, Randy Hall, Cassandra Harvey, Fabian Graciano, and Raj Mali.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, let's vote. Passes 4-0 for the reappointments. Okay, so the Architect and Design Commission, we're going to reappoint or vote on reappointing April Bartlett, Russell Bartlett, Andrew Mercy, and Timothy Wiley. So let's vote on that.
I'll make a motion to accept those appointments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion carries 4-0. We're going to appoint to the Architect and Design Commission Howard Harris and Angela Hearns.
So moved.
Second. Sorry.
That's good.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion carries 4-0. Criminal Justice, we're going to reappoint David Vieira, Mark Brown, Lee Smith, and Christy Velasquez. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept those
I second.
reappointments.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, let's vote. Motion carries 4-0. We're going to appoint Sheldon Carter, Jeff Little, and Angela Underwood Jacob.
I'll make the motion to appoint the three named people.
I second.
So we have a motion to appoint Sheldon Carter, Jeff Little, and Angela Underwood Jacobs. Let's vote. Motion carries 4-0. Neighborhood Vitalization, we're going to reappoint Stephen Derryberry, Michelle Kiefer, Dave Masshore, and Lisa Moulton.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. City Clerk, could you please administer the oath of office? Would all those appointees that are here please come down?
Do we now want
New appointees, we don't need to re-swear those who've already been sworn.
Please raise your right hand. I'm going to ask you, Angela Underwood Jacobs, do you solemnly swear or
What?
affirm to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I do.
Michael wanted to speak.
Sounds very familiar. Do I know if I've taken a few times?
Michael does. You want to speak?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Doc, you're up. I know you want to talk.
I just definitely want to say thank you to you, Vice Mayor, and obviously Mayor Paris, Ms. Johnson, Mr. Smith, Mr. Mann, City Manager, Captain, my family that's here, my father-in-law, who is very happy to be here today, and my sweetheart, Renee. And I look forward to this challenge, and very grateful to have wonderful team members, and I wholeheartedly look forward to serving the city of Lancaster. We're going in the right direction. We make the right appointments or reappointments, and I look forward to continue to support our city council, our city, and our citizens of this community. God bless you, and thank you for this wonderful honor and wonderful opportunity. I plan to make you proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, let me say thank you to all of you. I feel that this is an honor and a privilege to be a part of the City of Lancaster, and is greatly appreciated by my family who's here to support me tonight. Again, thank you so very much.
Vice Mayor Chris, council, staff, thank you very much for this appointment. I'm looking forward to serving the city of Antelope Valley as much as I can. I always enjoy that. So, again, thank you, and I look forward to the opportunity and the challenge. So thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to serving with you all. I look forward to serving the city of Lancaster. I'll do my best to give everything I can to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sheldon, thank you. Michael, you want to say a few words?
Vice Mayor, council staff, ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate our citizens for wanting to better the community. I know Miguel and Sheldon, and I know they'll do a great job on the commissions. That being said, I've spoken about this before, that other than the Planning Commission as a permanent commission, I would prefer that the mayor and the council appoint committees during the year to handle specific problems facing the city, instead of having standing commissions in criminal justice and neighborhood vitalization and so forth. So it's something we can think about in the future, because we want to involve people who are not necessarily in the forefront of the community. We want to involve people in neighborhoods who are just ordinary people like me, and have them participate in the decision-making of their city. So I don't know if there's a sunset law on the commission, but at that point, when it comes up for renewal, we might want to consider just having the Planning Commission. And also, as far as the Planning Commission, we may want to copy what Palmdale did. They had a training session for their Planning Commission in which they had citizens act out certain problems so they would be familiar with how to do their job. So that's something we can think about in the future. So congratulations to the people that are on the commissions, and thank you for your community service. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Additionally, Sue Dale, the chair of the Lancaster Human Relations Tapestry Commission, has asked that the following individuals be appointed to that commission, and they are Yohab Martinez and Oscar Mahina. Are they here?
I will make that motion then.
I don't think that we vote on that.
Do we?
It's not a commissioner, they're a commissioners.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Well, may I
Go ahead.
start just
Correct.
and congratulations to those that have come back for us, and congratulations to the new people. Welcome home, and we look forward to working with you together, as we all do as a city. And we know that you guys will definitely be for the vision of what the city of Lancaster represents, and continue to make us all citizens and our children proud. So thank you guys for everything.
Thank you. So we're going to go into HM1, the Housing Authority. Maria, you didn't list it as it, but if you'd like to speak on it, you can certainly do so. But you did not list it under your cards.
for CA1.
So you can speak.
Well, some of the problems that I have with commissions is when some people are appointed to commissions and you go before the commissions and you're not allowed to speak, and I'm not talking about when you don't, fill out a thing, you specifically have something filled out. I went before some of the commissions before, and I was threatened with being arrested for wanting to come and speak on certain things. Also, when they're invested in, when they have certain investments within the city, also, makes a difference as to the outcome of, their votes or things like that. And I do have a problem with some of that, with commissions, or people that are appointed to the commissions. And, I think that needs to be taken a better look at when people are appointed, certain people. Or when there is problems like that, who do you go to for, the problems that arise like that, where you're not allowed to speak because of the issues that maybe they're vested in or something.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Okay.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to the Housing Authority actions, the minutes. So I need a motion and a second for the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote.
Wait, no, I take mine away.
Let's
Sorry.
revote.
I just realized we're...
Okay, let's
Sorry.
start over. For the motion, I need a motion and a second. She made a motion.
No, I
I'll
can't
make-
motion.
Ron, I'll make the motion.
Oh, you made the motion? A second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, we're going to... we have no speaker cards on it. HACC1. Need a motion and a second.
I'll move that to approve HACC 1.
A second. I can't.
No. Ron?
Ron?
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion carries 3-0. City Council minutes, no speaker cards.
I'll make a motion to accept the council minutes from July 22nd.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn the chair back over to the...
He wants to jump back in. Did you tell him, Mayor, we're just approved the minutes of the last council meeting?
Okay. We approved the consent.
Okay.
Correct? The second.
It was the minutes.
The minutes.
Oh, we did the consent part. You did
No.
the
No.
consent part. We haven't done the consent
No, we haven't gotten there yet. That's where we were going.
part.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay, great.
See, I told you, Ron, you need to slow down.
That's what I get for being it's cookies.
Yes, should be in all the cookies.
All right, anything to be removed from the consent calendar? No, sir. Is there a motion?
No, there's speaker cards.
Okay.
Wait a minute. She put 3 speaker cards in for 3 on each so she can speak, so she only gets 3 minutes on all of them.
That's correct. Maria Pisano? So you want CC 2, 3, 4,
Well, right, but we're on
5, and 6, is that correct?
And those, the other ones.
So you want the whole consent calendar? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Final.
Okay.
On CC2, for financial claims, I'd like to know who exactly would be liable when people are hurt mentally, physically, monetarily in this city, whether it's, loss of their house, their business, their children, their vehicles, their property. Who's responsible if you legislate and make the laws? Is the city responsible by making laws, selecting commissions or committees, approving projects and budgets, distributing funds, creating jobs and hiring workers, developing or approving partnerships, approving or denying businesses, determining or allocating or collecting taxes, distorting, manipulating, or intentionally deceiving in order to gain personally, words, actions that cause harm and destruction, emotional distress, and physical harm, reduction or destruction of personal private property, intellectual property belonging to a person or heirs, allowing, permitting certificates or permits or degrees of lowered or altered standards in order to simply employ persons not properly certified or experienced for the sole purpose of passing inspections or guaranteeing regulations and increasing employment numbers, or false appearance of regulations. Regardless of any issues pertaining to things like Trading with the Enemies Act, health safety codes, building codes, codes of conduct, voting laws, human rights violations, constitutional right violations, fraud, theft, extortion, liability, defamation, medical malpractice, personal injury, wrongful death, unlawful detainer, environmental claims, workplace violence, child abuse, elder abuse, mismanagement of funds, money laundering, sex trafficking, mortgage foreclosure, property damage, wrongful death, and election already went over that, wrongful arrest, government agencies employing diversion of funds, false statements, destroying of documents, violation of child protection laws, human research, obstruction of justice, so on and so on.
Thank you. Michael Reeves?
Mayor, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking tonight about CC9, in which we want to acquire some real property in the city. You know, the other day I was walking down 10th Street West, and I looked in some of the neighborhoods like J10, J11. I mean, whatever happened to code enforcement in this city? I mean, we have whole areas in this city that are becoming blighted, and we're using federal money to purchase houses and rehabilitate them, and to me, we have a 50-50 success rate on that. I've seen some houses that turned out well, other houses have been sold, and the occupants have not been the best neighbors. However, are the code enforcement people still working in this town? Are we still enforcing the code? We got lots of grass all over it and debris. We have television sets and lots. I mean, the town is deteriorating. Now, according to this money that we got for the neighborhood stabilization program, we can acquire, rehabilitate, and then resell foreclosed homes. Is there anything in that can be used to rehabilitate and keep our neighborhoods intact, or do we have to apply for another grant? It's something to think about. We do not want the town to deteriorate while we're purchasing homes and rehabilitating them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ed Galindo?
Well, first I'd like to thank you all for the reconditioning of the museum. It's fantastic. The last time I went in there, I didn't recognize it this time, but it came out.
You mean Cedar Street Center, right? Where we were today?
Where we were today. Yeah, that was fantastic. I understand under CC4, we were destroying a bunch of records. My only concern here is that we don't do another Lois Turner and forget a lot of our records. And I'd like to ask the city attorney, or excuse me, the city clerk, if she complied with 34090.5, which means that everything should be photographed and we should have a permanent record.
We comply with the city policy with regard to the destruction of records, and this is in accordance with the city policy, and these are all long outdated records.
That doesn't answer his question. His question is, did we scan them or didn't we?
That I'll have to defer to the city clerk about whether they were scanned.
The records we're destroying have met their retention. We don't have to keep them in any way, shape, or form once they've met their retention, according to the policy.
So is the answer no?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And there were no real property or anything other than the documents that can be destroyed.
The documents that are being destroyed have met their retention. They are, according to the policy, they've met their retention, and we're not destroying anything that the code says we cannot.
Okay, just don't want us to get into a problem where we need them later on and they're not there.
Right.
And I want to tell Councilman Smith, welcome back.
Thank you, Ed.
I'll make a motion that we approve our consent calendar as currently comprised.
I'll second it. Let's vote. It's unanimous. Okay. New business. Elizabeth Brubaker. Is that correct?
We have no speaker cards, but...
Is that what we're doing it?
You have a speaker card for each of them.
I'm sorry, what? Wait a minute, let Barvin answer his phone first. What?
Hello, Rex.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Paris.
Hi, hello.
Mayor Paris. What I'm learning is concerning the AVTA, the Antelope Valley Transit Authority. I've been riding the bus a lot lately, and
This is not the right.
lately the buses haven't been keeping their schedules, and sitting out in the hot sun. This is a very hot place here in Lancaster, and besides the schedule, there's a lot of rowdiness in those buses. I don't know who our director is of that AVTA, but maybe we ought to appoint a new one, I would say. That's my complaint for today.
You came at a perfect time. All of the AVTA
buses.
Wait a minute. All of the AVTA leadership is in the back row.
It's in the back row?
Hiding.
Well, I'm looking to you all.
Bingo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would one of you please talk with him?
And get specific.
Private.
Private. You want to go outside?
So we always try to do it privately, and then if that doesn't work, then we go public. Okay. Liz, you're on.
You going to do the video? Okay. I guess we have to come up to do the video. Okay. Oh, we're going to see a video about YOLO. I'm supposed to introduce the video. I was going to do this like Monterey, where they take the lights down and then the video comes up and then you come up and speak, but it didn't work that way. So now we're going to watch a video on YOLO.
So what happened?
I don't know. The dramatic lights and all that. But this will be good. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a PC. Now I know what happened.
I have Michelle Kiefer of Antelope Valley Partners for Health, who is the CEO, to my right, which is a nonprofit organization receiving over $7 million in funding to provide community health services and linkages to the residents of the Antelope Valley through programs such as Welcome Baby, Heal Zone, and Choose Health LA Kids. To my left, I have Tracy, who's the owner of Davis Communication, who for over 30 years has been providing advertising, marketing, and design services to the community and has been doing a fantastic job providing those services for the City of Lancaster for 28 years. City staff was tasked by the Lancaster Mayor and City Council to implement a program that would involve the entire community to get healthy and stay healthy. A little over a year ago, City staff, ADPH, and Davis Communications formed a partnership to create a program to change residents' behavior to practice positive health habits that would become a permanent way of life and make the program a continuing, sustainable part of the community. To have this type of program be successful, one must have a plan, time to rehearse, and an unveiling. In order to have time to rehearse, we needed partners to be excited about a program that they had never heard of and before launching the program. We now have partners signed up who are extremely excited to be a part of this program, and that is why we are here today to give a brief overview of the program while we rehearse for the unveiling in October at the Health Symposium. The goal is for the City of Lancaster to be the model for the nation on how to create a sustainable, ever-changing community lifestyle of healthy eating and active living through PACT, which stands for Prevention, Advocacy, Commitment, Teaching, via the campaign YOLO, You Only Live Once. Michelle is going to tell us about the program.
So I think you all know me by now, I hope so, because I've been basically in front of you for the last 7 years at least, telling us all about our health statistics here in the Antelope Valley, which we have some of the worst here in Los Angeles County and even nationwide in obesity, diabetes, heart disease, just to name a few, all preventable through healthy eating, active living. So we really need to do something, and we've done a lot through our programs, our health systems. We've built beautiful facilities. We're bringing a lot of services here. We could do more, but even though we bring the services, we still have to get the people to utilize the services and the programs, our nutrition classes, all of these things. So how do we get the people excited about the programs? How do we get them to utilize these services? So this is what the team came up with, the Wellness Challenge. So it's a point system, and in order to do this, we have to get everybody involved, the businesses, the restaurants, the medical community, the gyms, the parks, the nonprofits, everybody. So it's a point system. Everybody will join, hopefully. Residents will join. It's $5 to join. We get partners to participate, so restaurants will have healthy meal options, gyms will join, and we didn't want it to just be about losing weight. We talked about doing a Biggest Loser or a Million Steps like other communities have done, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't about just losing weight or being more active. It was about being healthy. It was going and getting your preventative care. It was going for your precancerous screenings. It was about actually having healthy lifestyles. It was about being good parents, going for parenting classes. It was about everything. It was about being a healthy community. So if you go for a parenting class, you get points. If you go to the doctor, you get points. If you go to a restaurant and have a healthy meal, you could get points for that. If you go for a community walk, you could get points for that. So it's involving everybody. It's involving the whole entire community. And that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take for us to be the model of the nation, to be the model of the county, to make a healthy community. We could have all the bike paths, we could have all the walking paths, we could have safe parks, we could have everything. But until we get the people here to utilize those things, that's what it's going to take. So that's where we're at, and we're excited. We have at least 20 businesses and restaurants and Subways and Whole Wheatery, and people already signed up. Businesses are excited about this. They want to be part of this. People want to make a change. So we're ready to start. We're ready to pilot it, and we're really excited. City of Lancaster is so proactive about this, and we're so excited about working with you on this, and we're ready to move forward with this. So we're excited.
We got gyms. We got some gyms today.
We got gyms.
We got a lot of partners.
We got Monster Fitness. We're excited, and they have great ideas, and it's going to be big. We're really, really excited about it. So everybody needs to join the pact, the Wellness Pact. We're ready to move forward.
So we knew it was really important to get it out there to the people. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be fun. People have to want to do it. It can't be boring. So we had Tracy work with us and her firm, and we've come up with a lot of exciting things to do to get everybody from youth all the way to elderly and every kind of lifestyle to participate. And Tracy's going to tell you about that.
So yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about YOLO Lancaster going forward. Today was an exciting day because ABPH hosted a brunch for our PAC partners. As the Wellness Challenge gains momentum, we're going to continue to recruit additional partners to join in our outreach efforts. Next up is a soft launch starting September 1st. ABPH and city staffers will enroll in the program as participants. This is going to allow us to test the technology used to track points and debug the system prior to the program's official launch to the public. The PAC program is utilizing technology to streamline the program and make the process of joining and tracking the participation in YOLO Lancaster activities effortless. This is really important. We didn't want our partners to have to work to make this program work. The responsive website allows both partners and the public to sign up by computer, tablet, and smartphone. Each participant is provided with a membership card, which can be scanned to log participation. Alternately, coupon codes can be distributed by partners and redeemed for points. By visiting the YOLO website, both partners and participants can track personal points, they can see where they stand currently, and they get great ideas on sensible things that they can do to live healthier and more rewarding lives. On October 30th, ABPH is sponsoring its first health symposium in Lancaster. Mayor Paris has been invited to officially announce the YOLO Lancaster Wellness Challenge at this event. During the first week of November, we'll launch the program to the public. In cooperation with the local media and our PAC partners, we'll kick off the introductory campaign, which will include electronic and print media, outdoor, and social marketing. The city's December Outlook is going to feature a 2-page spread on the program. It'll also be promoted on the city's cable channel and e-news. We'll have billboards, ABTA bus banners, printed materials, which will encourage the citizens 18 years and up to participate in the program and earn great prizes. First prize is $5,000. For the person who loses the most weight,
has the most points.
Oh, has the most points. Yes. Okay. $5,000. And then we have prize packages like a new wardrobe and, membership at a gym and all types of things. So it's going to be incredibly exciting. A concerted PR effort and an active social media presence and visits to our special events by ABPH staff will keep the program top of mind to residents throughout the year-long Wellness Challenge. Since you only live once, it's important to make sure you're living the best life possible. So we look forward to each of you becoming a leader of the pact. Thank you.
I want to say one more thing about the webpage. It's going to have all the links to all the different organizations that provide health. So it's going to become a one-stop shop for people to get on and get to links for everything that they need to become physically and mentally healthy. So the webpage is a huge effort in pulling all resources together in one place. So we're really excited about that because it can go in so many different directions in terms of the medical field. So we have another interesting video that we're going to be showing. So we'd like to show that.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Clearly he isn't me. But if he started guzzling milk instead of high fructose corn syrup, he started eating apples instead of chips, if he started playing football instead of watching it, then he could be me. Now, boyfriend.
I love that. Awesome. Any questions? That's awesome.
It's the playing football that has him stumped.
I was going to say, my husband played.
So how many people how are you going to measure success?
Actually, when they join the PAC, they have to do initial BMI measurements, all of those things, and they have to do it quarterly. They will get their points for it, so they do have to just stop by. Actually, some of the gyms today offer to do their check-ins, so they will be check-in sites. Clinics are signing up. Kaiser actually, I think, they've agreed to participate, so there'll be a site. AV Community Clinic will be a site. So we're working with the major medical groups as well, and we'll work with other nursing schools and things like that. Public Health is a partner, so they can help with the measurements of those things. So we'll be taking measurements and weights and things like that, so we'll be able to measure actual how it's doing and where we're at and actually successes of the program.
Okay. What's the target for the number of people that sign up?
What's the target for residents?
That sign up, the number.
I don't.
How do we know I want to know, how are we going to know if we were successful?
With the website, you will be able to get data off the website that will let us know what type of age groups are participating, the gender that is participating, this sort of thing. So at least we can run this database. We can see who we need to do more outreach to, that sort of thing. So we will be able to track certain things by the database.
How long is...
The challenge lasts a year, so you will be able to continue to sign up, all year long. So we will have outreach all year long. Now, obviously, if you sign up next October and it ends in November, you most likely won't, win first prize. But, it is a continuous, you do have the continuous ability to sign up.
Anybody ever done it before?
Never.
No.
You guys came up with this all by yourself, huh?
Yes.
It's remarkable. So, how are we tracking whether or not it has any impact on the overall disease in the community?
I think...
Well, we have baseline data from public health key indicators, so we'll be able to obviously know where that started. Every 2 years they do that. So we can't pull data from OSHPD every year. I mean, hospitals, community clinics, medical communities have to report that every year. So we could kind of get a baseline off of what that data looked like on diagnosis by diagnosis. That's one of the other things that ABPH is looking at, how we could get real-time data from just pulling our data that we're all collecting. So OSHPD's the easiest because we all have to at least the clinics and hospitals have to report that. So that's something that we can easily pull off and at least see what that looks like.
Are we?
So, what?
I mean, is there a plan to do that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can actually, in December, January, everybody has to report that. That's easy that we can start just pulling that and at least see where and since we're starting in November, we could pull it in January, February, pull that for this year, and then in 2016, pull it and see how we did.
LA County involved?
What?
Is LA County involved in this at all? Are they helping at all?
Just us.
That's deplorable. I mean, it's great you're doing it, but...
Well, Mayor, what happens if it catches on and we do it another year, and then maybe another year?
Well, I'm assuming that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
And when do we, challenge Palmdale? Oh, I didn't.
And this is just one component of the program because ABPH is already doing outreach to businesses, to the schools, and, the community at large. So this is, the Wellness Challenge is just one large component that will have, create a buzz.
Okay. So are the schools are the schools involved, the district?
Yet, because that was one of the things, it can be really huge, so we really wanted to keep it adults right now. So it is 18 and above. We do want to do a kids challenge, but this was like so kind of like huge. We wanted to do this part first, and then maybe like after we get this kind of like see how it goes, we'll do a kids challenge maybe in 6 months, 8 months to see how this kind of works itself out. But we will do a kids challenge. But for liability purposes, all of those things, we just really needed to see how this kind of like worked itself out. But we do want to do a kids challenge. It was just kind of, this was kind of a monster thing. We had to kind of figure out all of the bells and whistles and website and all of those things. So so this is 18 and over right now, and then, but we do want to do a kids challenge. So that will.
So has the council signed up yet?
I don't know, have you?
I don't know.
But when you
Not
do,
yet, not yet.
When you do, I want to see stretching up there before council meetings.
You want what?
I want to see stretching up there before council meetings and get points for that.
You know, one of the questions, Sandra, I would have thought you had asked about horseback riding. Maybe, does horseback riding get points?
Yes. There you go. Physical activity.
No, you have to stay on the horse. Okay.
Comment.
So, like, we could have a contest amongst the 5 of us, right?
Good idea.
Yeah, you could.
You're not eligible to win the 5,000.
We're
We'll
not?
have to think of a different gift.
That's okay.
I think it's more a macho thing than a money thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right. Good. Let's make this a game changer.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good.
very good.
I'll make a motion, we receive and file NB1.
I second.
All in favor, voice?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. All right. NB2, City Clerk, do you have any communications?
No communications.
We will now hear this, we have one card, okay. So we'll hear the staff report from Brian Ludicky.
Mayor Paris, members of the City Council, the item that is before you this evening is a recommended ordinance from the Planning Commission, and it is intended to address issues that have been caused in the city by standalone type carnival events. And these concerns have included nuisance factors such as noise, dust, litter, and safety concerns with traffic flow and other types of effects on nearby property. To accomplish this, the ordinance that's recommended to you places a prohibition on such events within the city. But at the same time, the Planning Commission was concerned in drafting this that they ensure that certain types of events and festivals that have traditionally been held in our city could continue. And as a result of that, the ordinance contains within it some fairly generous exceptions that would not prohibit these types of events. As examples, the ordinance as drafted would not prevent events such as Thunder on the Lot, our downtown boulevard events, Poppy Festival, events that occur at the fairgrounds, or events that are done by a school or a religious organization on their property, such as the Greek Festival. Other types of events that would not be affected by this particular draft ordinance would include items such as seasonal sales, where you have a pumpkin or holiday type sales location that may have some kind of incidental amusement to it, such as a slide or some type of a swing or something of that type. It would also not prohibit what are known as sales promotional events, which are already allowed under other provisions of the code. And we see these from time to time in places such as the auto mall or on a shopping center site where there's an event that's designed to drive traffic to that particular center. Finally, in drafting the ordinance, the Planning Commission recognized that there may be occasions where a particular event that's defined as a carnival may in fact be something that we want to allow. So there is a provision within the code that allows the promoter or the applicant of such an event to request from the Planning Commission a special exemption to allow for this one-time type of event to occur. So in summary, we believe that the ordinance as drafted addresses the primary concern, which is the standalone carnival type event where we have had problems, while at the same time permitting the typical kinds of community events that we do not want to prohibit to be allowed to continue. Chairman Vos of the Planning Commission is present. If you have any particular questions about the Planning Commission's thoughts on this, he or I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
I do, if I may. I think one of the questions that I have is more of a definition of carnival. I applaud all of the entities that we've tried to address, like the city and the fairgrounds and so Thunder on the Lot. There might be a few that maybe it was an oversight that we forgot, for example, or it might be that why them, not us type of a challenge that we might have. So my question is, do we have a definition of carnival so that it can be more black and white when people are challenging it, rightfully so, in their eyes, where we can address it a little clearer?
The description of carnival that is contained within the draft ordinance, we think is pretty clear, that it has to include such things as amusement rides, games of skill, shows, animal acts, things of this type that kind of paint the picture of what a carnival type of an event would be. Obviously, there's always going to be an interpretation that falls on staff as we look at these. But I think in listening to the deliberations of the city or the city's planning commission, it's pretty clear that the things that they were really looking to address were the type of carnival that, say, shows up on the vacant lot, has no relationship to anything going on around it, or some other type of event of that nature. Those have been the ones that have really caused the concerns with noise to adjacent property. In many cases, they haven't cleaned the lot properly, and they're hard to find after that. And those are really the things that we're looking to address here. But other types of events, and there's numerous ones, obviously, that happen in our city, they also wanted to make sure would not happen. I believe, based upon what they deliberated and the way the language is drafted in the code, that we have a very clear idea of what a carnival is and what it is not, as far as what the ordinance seeks to address. But once again, if there's that one odd event that seems to be something that fits within the definition, yet is something that might be worthwhile to allow because it doesn't have the same potential for an adverse effect, there is the provision that allows that to be considered. And I think that's an important safety factor that is included in the draft ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. That does answer that question. I also think that, and of course I'm thinking as an entrepreneur, with people that would like to have, let's say, a food truck event, and would they have the opportunity to do so? Would they be able to come to the city and receive that permission?
Yes, something like that, depending on whether it was done as part of a promotional event for a shopping center, which would be a sales and promotion event, or a special event permit would be the proper venue for that. But we would look at a food truck type event as not falling into the same category as a carnival or more of a circus type event, although maybe they have a small amusement ride or something of that type with it. And I think that we have done a pretty good job in our communication between the staff and the Planning Commission to understand what their direction was on this.
Okay. I just want to make sure that that our citizens don't see it as any confusion or judgment when they wish to do any type of events. I applaud what we're doing. I think that we should be able to have more control of the events that are happening in our city, especially carnivals, because of the reasons that you've shared, and I do agree. I just want to make sure that our citizens are clear of the definitions and the guidelines that are being requested from them. Because there is a multitude of events that our city is very proud of doing, not just the city of Lancaster, but our entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that they don't get pushed away or questioned for what they are doing. So I think that's why I'm just a little concerned.
Understood.
Okay.
So, Mayor, if I may ask a question. You know, when I first read this, and the first thing that came to my mind is and maybe this is an assumption on my part, so historically, we really have not had anything from a governing position when a carnival has come into the city.
No, they've pretty much had, with the exception of some of the zoning classifications within the city, they've pretty much had a pretty wide open situation where they can locate with on some vacant property
with no restrictions, no controls, nothing.
They can go with a director's review, but the director's review, as you probably remember from your planning commission days, doesn't allow us to that easily deny something. What it really allows us to do is to try to place conditions on their operation, and most of the types of events that this is designed to address have not been satisfactorily dealt with. I was thinking back in the last couple of days, and every one of those events over the last few years that has occurred, I think has resulted in at least one phone call from a citizen to me about why we allowed it and the problems that they had with it, and I hope you aren't going to permit them to do that again.
Okay. Well, then I have a couple other questions, because again, the first thing come to my mind, I know that historically when I was on the Chamber of Commerce, often at times, and I can't remember we're going back, and I can't remember the carnival group that would come to Lancaster, and the chamber would use it as a fundraiser. So I am to assume then historically when that took place, then we didn't have any kind of governing mechanism, so they just showed up and secured a piece of property and did it, and there was no control factor based on some of the examples that you gave, like trash being left behind or parking or... Okay.
Yeah, we've had a number of incidents where such events left a site, the wind comes up later, dust blows, other kinds of...
All right, so now I'm going to go really far-reaching, and I don't care what anybody's interpretation is this, but this last year we had Color Me Rad, which it was, it's entertaining, it's fun. It brought people from all over Southern California, even from out of state. So the question would be, this wouldn't fall into that preview then either?
No, that would not be defined as a carnival under the ordinance.
All right, although I thought it was a little carnival-like. We had fun with color and looked like there was a few clowns there, and so there, I just have some concerns about having delineation, and I know the chamber hasn't had that carnival come to town in several years, so I guess that if they do come back, then they'll have to go through the process.
Yes.
Can we enforce, and again, excuse also my unaware, can we enforce a fine if anyone comes with a carnival? Is there something we can enforce?
Yes, we actually within the draft ordinance, there's language that would allow the city to use various police powers that it has to shut events or to take care of things in that manner.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Maria Bezano.
A few days before I got this agenda or whatever, I was sitting in my new home where I live under a tree, and I could hear this noise, this ch-ch, and I kept thinking, is the city, is the fair already come, and are they doing the things to set up the carnival stuff or whatever? And I went for a little walk and around the way because I kept hearing this noise, and all night long, it was going all night long, all day long. And what it was the coach building where they're building trailers and mobiles down the way. It looks like, I don't know who would buy that many, why they're trying to push out that many trailers and that many, looks like medical type trucks and things like that. So that's what they're doing over there with that sound and that thing going on all night and all day long over there as they're building all these trailers. I don't know if the public or anybody knows about this and what they're planning on doing with all these trailers and medical trailers and, FEMA-looking vehicles. That's what I came across with that. And also, there was another thing that had to do with because I went to the Planning Commission about this once before when they were going over this carnival thing, but I got kicked out of the meeting. Also, I had gotten a paper from a Countrywide. It was supposed to be a roadside assistance thing, but it was something I had to sign. They wouldn't give me the receipt for it. I guess that used to be a mortgage company or something. When I called in about it, they sent me over to a place in Little Rock that said that was the place where the Countrywide towing place was. But when I got there, it was a house. They had some full carnival deal in their backyard. I don't know what the deal was with that. They had a full post office thing out in front, but they claimed it had nothing to do with anything with that. Shortly after that is when I lost my house, too, so I don't know what I signed. But it was something that was supposed to be a roadside assistance, but it was, in fact, called Countrywide. So these are the two things that I got out of this carnival deal, which I just want to let everyone know what's going on.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Actually, if I may, I do have one more question. What kind of time frame do we anticipate in order for a permit or an approval if an individual group wants to submit or get the approval for this?
The question is if they applied for the special exemption.
Yes.
We could get it to the Planning Commission within 30 days.
30 days?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I have a comment.
Make your comment.
I think we have a wonderful planning commission. I think I watched what they did with this, the way that they went through it. But from my taste, it's not tight enough. It needs to be tightened up a little bit. The definitions, we are a community of nonprofits. They're out there trying to understand different ways to make money, and this just isn't tight enough of a definition for my taste. That's my comment.
So, Vice Mayor, so help me understand,
Excuse me.
tightening up.
What is your question?
My question was if Marvin could define what he means by tightening up.
Just the definition. The definition could have a little bit more work on it. I don't have specifics, but it just needs to be a little bit tighter. I just don't think that, this will affect a lot of our nonprofits. I don't like doing that. Never have. I understand the need for controlling the carnivals that just come into town, and if we could define them, but to define it in the way that it was defined up in the staff report that I read, I just have a problem with the definition and how it's made. It's my taste.
Do you have language that you'd like to change it to?
I just want them to tighten up the definition.
Do you have language that would
I do
tighten
not.
it up? Okay. Mr. Gross.
Evening, Mayor.
Good evening. What impact will this have on nonprofits, if any?
We considered nonprofits in the definition and in the exemptions. For instance, something like, take for example, Sacred Heart periodically has events, an annual event. Those would be considered exempt from the ordinance. Many different organizations within the community have different events at different times, and for the most part, we considered them exempt. the definition of carnival we thought was pretty straightforward. If the commission feels that or if the council feels that they wish to have a stronger definition, we'd need some direction. I think we've hit it on the head. However, if you have something stronger you'd like to add, we'll take it back and work it some more.
Was there any community input on this? Any of the nonprofits in the community concerned in any way?
There were no public comments that I recall.
I think if I may, on the part that concerns me, and again, I applaud what we're doing and I support what we are doing and why we're doing it. I agree. However, I know how our translation of wording, sometimes we all translate it differently. And I think that's where I'm asking for a little bit of clarification. For example, section 9.46.020, section A, it says carnivals and, quote, other temporary entertainment events. And that's the part that concerns me, where I'm saying, not concerns me, that's the part that I would like to have maybe as our Vice Mayor said, tightened. Because of that quote that says, other temporary entertainment events. That to me is a broad area.
Some of the challenges I think we face when we try to define specific events, then we either miss someone, or we might include venues that maybe we would prefer to have. So we want to give the city council sufficient flexibility. And that's why, we didn't ask to take up this ordinance. It was given to us at the city council's direction as we understood it. So if there are additional things you'd like to have us address, we'll certainly do that.
Allow me to apologize to you. I think that if we had a concern, the proper time to do this would be when you guys were working on it, not sit in judgment of it now. And I apologize that is happening. Ms. Burns, did you have something?
I wanted to address the concern raised by Councilmember Johnson and also by Vice Mayor Christ, if I may. With regard to Councilmember Johnson's comment, section 9.46.020A sets forth some of the findings and purposes. It is not the definition of a carnival. The definition of a carnival is found in 9.46030A and lays out what is and what is not a carnival. And some of the events that I've heard concerns about raised by various council members are ones that fall within the exemption expressly set forth in the definition of carnival, as well as with regard to the nonprofit events, particularly carnivals by religious institutions on their property or elementary schools or secondary schools on their own property. Those are also expressly exempt. Additionally, events conducted on city property or any of our affiliated entities' properties or sponsored by the city or any affiliated city entity are also exempt. So I think we've covered the issues that were raised, but if there is something more that we can do, we can obviously make revisions and bring it back. That is certainly something we can do. But I wanted to address those, and particularly the issue raised by Council Members Johnson and Vice Mayor Christ.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question, please?
Of course.
If Mr. Ludicky can elaborate, usually there's a director's review on all of this stuff. Do you have the flexibility to be able to look at that ordinance and go with the council's flavor of what their intent is and decide to deny or accept something that might not be specifically and more, explained within the ordinance it is? Because it is going to be difficult to write a definition that's got to encompass everything that we want and exclude everything that we want.
Yes, I think the key to this ordinance is, as well as any other code, is how it is interpreted and applied. And I think in going through the dialogue with the Planning Commission and once again hearing the concerns of the council, I think it's very clear, at least to me, where that interpretation has to lie. And I believe that the types of events we're talking about, they're fairly narrow. There are not a lot of them that have ever occurred in the city, maybe 3 or 4 a year. Unfortunately, the effect of them has been enough that I think it's necessary to adopt the ordinance in order that staff can actually deal with those particular events while not affecting the ones that clearly we don't want to prohibit.
So the planning director still has some discretion?
Yes, there's always the language of the code and then how that language is interpreted. And it's important because we've been involved in the development of the code language, and that I think makes us capable of intelligently interpreting it to make sure that the council and the commission's wishes are carried out.
Because I know we've written lots of ordinances that it goes to the director's review to interpret, and, okay.
Yes.
I'm good with it with the director's, with director's review.
It seems to me if there's a problem, we can correct it when it arises. But to try to envision what problems might occur in the future,
yes.
I don't know, we just disagree. Is there a motion? We done? Is there a motion?
I'll move that we adopt ordinance number 999.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Well, let's vote. It's 3-2. It passes. NB3, City Manager.
Actually, Robert Neal's going to give the report.
You read the speaker cards?
She wrote on it's on there.
It doesn't work. No.
Okay.
Any others? You want to waive the report?
Yes.
We'll waive the report. You're off the hook, Robert. Any questions of Mr. Neal before he sits down?
No.
Is there a motion?
Just receive and file?
Yeah, by consensus.
Okay, great. Let's move on. Council agenda, CA2. Oh, you do? For water conservation. Sorry.
I personally like to hear the report just so the public knows about it and just so they could see it on Channel 27 and stuff. Because sometimes they don't know what's going on, so I would like to listen to what the mandatory report says.
Fair enough.
And then I have some comments after that. We accept.
You're pushing it now.
Huh?
You're pushing it now.
All right. Well, I want to be able to comment from his.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Tonight I'd like to report on statewide and county mandatory water conservation measures. Show how our community is doing in terms of water conservation and describe what the city is doing to conserve water. Let me start with just a little bit of background. Last January, Governor Brown declared a drought emergency and asked for voluntary cuts by residents of 20%. To assist in this effort, last month the State Water Resources Control Board instituted statewide mandatory restrictions. The regulations are to remain in effect for 270 days. As Waterworks reported to the City Council, all of California is in a historic drought, and reservoirs are at precariously low levels in many places. The city manager and city staff met with Waterworks leadership to discuss the situation as it exists in the Antelope Valley and specifically Lancaster. The report is we are in better shape than many parts of the state. Lancaster residents are conserving water, and preparations made by the city and other water agencies are getting us through this year. The preparations I'm talking about are implementing water wasting ordinances, new water efficient landscape standards, developing and utilizing a recycled water system, removing sod from our landscape maintenance districts, and also in some of the less critical areas of our parks, as well as supporting water banking efforts. To comply with state requirements, Waterworks will be sending out this notice to all its customers. It is a restatement of the statewide emergency water regulations. Many of the state water restrictions are things we already prohibit under our water wasting ordinance. For example, the restrictions that ban wasteful outdoor water watering practices, such as sprinkler water that runs onto the sidewalk or streets, hosing down sidewalks and driveways, and washing cars without a shut-off nozzle on the hose. As reported in the newspaper, the state allows Waterworks in the city to impose a maximum penalty of $500 per violation. Waterworks has told us that this is not a tool that they intend to use. In extreme cases, they will shut off the water service. In order to achieve the 20% reduction requested by the governor, Waterworks is getting the word out that we need to conserve. They are seeking voluntary compliance. I believe we should do the same, and I will show you why. This chart shows daily water usage for Waterworks District 40 customers. The upper dashed line is our average daily water consumption based on the last 10 years. For instance, the average for the month of July is 68 MGD, million gallons per day. The three-color graph below this line shows this year's actual consumption and the source of water. What's important is the graph reveals a significant reduction in usage. The graph plots our water usage into the month of August. It's very recent. The last date on this chart shows our water usage is roughly 53 MGD. This is about 18.5% below our August monthly average of 65 MGD. To reach the 20% level, we need to be at 52 MGDs. So we're down 12 MGD, we need to be down 13 MGD. So we're really close. Let me point out one element of the graph. The blue area shows that nearly 20% of our water demand is met by banked water. It wasn't that long ago that water banking did not exist in the Antelope Valley. It's one of the preparations that water agencies have taken for times like this. Between the conservation our residents and businesses are already doing and the steps taken by Waterworks and the things that we are doing, our community is very close to meeting our state goals. There's been discussion whether the city should take on more enforcement responsibilities for conservation. I would recommend that we continue to enforce our city's water wasting ordinance and water efficient landscaping requirements and allow Waterworks to continue with their efforts. I believe this will achieve the state's goals. I'm sorry. Let me just show you what we're doing really quickly. This is Soccer Center as it looks like this morning. Watering is being done in accordance with the city's water wasting ordinance, meaning we water after 10 p.m. and before 10 a.m. We've limited the irrigation to 3 days a week. We've cut back on our perimeter watering, and you can see the stress in the grass. But we're concentrating on making sure the fields are playable. As you know, the soccer center is on wells, and it's not subject to Waterworks restrictions. This next slide is Terra Bonita Park. It's also on 3-day irrigation schedule. Actually, all our city parks are. It's our intent to keep the turf alive, and that's also the state's intent. We're trying to limit water to the bare minimum. There's a little bit of stress, but the grass is surviving, and this is what's being asked of the public. This slide is the perimeter of City Park. Last March, we converted this park over to recycled water, freeing up 125 acre-feet of potable water. State watering restrictions don't apply to recycled water landscapes. Even so, we are continuing to re-landscape with lower water use plants. And this is my last slide of Raleigh-Duntley. As you see, we've taken out sod and replaced it with low water landscaping. You're going to see a lot more of those kind of projects on other parks. So just as a quick summary, we are in a drought. We need to conserve water, but the Antelope Valley is actually in pretty good shape, and we all need to conserve water. Let me thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Mr. Zink.
I just think it was important for the public to know what the city's doing and its efforts. Plus, we got a water bond measure that's going to be on the November ballot, and I hope that our senator gets us some bacon and bring it back home. Most of our representatives have never done that, and so hopefully you guys have been putting pressure on him to do that. I've been emailing the city and the county and yourselves, and I hope that you are working behind the scenes to make that happen. The high school districts, that they're still watering their lawns during the day, I've noticed. And who knows, all the other agencies. So, but the other thing, I think that a big thing right now is a rebate program that could create a lot of jobs for low-skilled workers, minorities in Antelope Valley. Right now, you can get up to $5,000 maximum for taking out your lawn. So if you figure there's 100,000 homes in Antelope Valley, times 5,000, that's a $500 million rebate program that could put people to work and conserve water and probably cut this down, by a third easily. There's a company called Turf Terminators that does it for the Department of Water and Power that works with Solar City. And but I'd like to, instead of making somebody rich down below, I'd like maybe to form a company up here, and we could start doing this right away and hiring people to work. I'm very concerned about people with low skills not having jobs up here. I don't believe in trickle down. You got to give people an opportunity to work, or they'll rob. People come out of jail, no one is going to hire them, right? So what do they got to do? They either got to steal or they got to go back to jail. I mean, sure, you could say, hey, you got choices, but sometimes you don't got choices. Sometimes you get in hard positions. And so we need to do more in this community. And I think that we could lobby Senator Knight to get some money for rebates for Antelope Valley and create a lot of jobs in a good program that benefits the whole community. Also, money for the hydropower, for our sewer and our recycled water that we have, and also for, just, you guys are the city of Lancaster, but LA County, I mean, Elizabeth Lake needs a sewer plant. And whether you live in LA, Elizabeth Lake, or Little Rock, or Lancaster, or Palmdale, those are still jobs that could be created. And those communities qualify for grant money, like Little Rock and Acton. So I'm just, I hope you guys are putting the pressure on Knight, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Are you guys putting the pressure on Knight?
I think he's doing a wonderful job.
I second.
And I assume you have some support for that theory.
I would defer to our councilwoman. Do you think he's doing a wonderful job?
Senator Knight, yes, is doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted some factual support for that opinion was all. Anybody got any? No, didn't. Moving on. Mr. Neal, I am concerned that we are in a situation where the County of Los Angeles is controlling the water and expecting us to be the bad guys with the enforcement of it. And I think that's an untenable position, and one that we ought to seriously consider not falling into. If they do not want to give us Waterworks 40 and let us manage our own destiny in regards to water, then they should be the ones doing the enforcement. Because right now, they have a situation where we get to take the fall for citing people and enforcing this. I mean, it's going to be bad what's coming our way, but we have no influence on how best to use the water, how best to distribute the water, and how to do something with this problem. And let's be aware of that now. Let's not. I mean, it's a perfect world for them. Let them be accountable, or let us be accountable. But let's be 100% accountable. Let's not be dividing this up. And perhaps somebody could communicate that to the supervisor's office. I haven't seen them attend for quite a while now, and maybe they will have a response for us. Perhaps at the birthday party. No. Are you attending? No, I'm not. Are you? No. Moving on. Now that you listened to my rant, but I think you can see my point. Council item number 2, I'm moving to reappoint Councilman Mann, Vern Lawson, Randy Miranda to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Destination Lancaster. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
And Ken, I don't know if you can vote or not, but I wouldn't.
I can abstain if I need to.
Okay, let's vote. He can vote.
He can vote.
Okay. It's unanimous.
Thank you. We'll continue to do good work.
Yeah, you are, as a matter of fact. And provide good cookies, too. I mean, y'all get a cookie? You only gave cookies to us? What about the folks? You guys didn't get a cookie?
I'm not going to eat mine and get a couple points for YOLO.
I was just going to say, I want some points.
I am truly appalled. Truly appalled. What? We have guests and we eat and they don't? I mean, I thought it was a hockey. Didn't your mother ever? I mean, please. Well, I'm fighting for you, folks. Next time, you get a cookie.
We'll have to call Senator Knight.
Good luck with that one. All right, let's take a break.
Sandra said it there.
I thought Rex was coming back.
No, that's all right. I made no statements about that mental health, about people running into poles.
Poles?
I know, it was good. Okay, CA3. It's a report on the proposed Cal Water rate increase. Okay, little history. About a year ago, Cal Water proposed a rate increase of close to 60%. The city fought against that rate increase. They came back with some different options for the city. We told them that that was unacceptable. The city had their attorneys look at a negotiated compromise with the rate. We came up with over 3 years. It was approximately 10% over 3 years. The offices of taxpayer advocates they got involved into it with the PUC. Cal Water agreed with the city that it would be just a little over 10%. The people that are supposed to support, the taxpayers, got involved, and they want close to a 35% immediate rate increase. The people from Cal Water are already paying, according to a recent state audit, 305% above what everybody else is paying. So the city of Lancaster has threatened to sue them. The city of Lancaster was going to go up on April 14th to talk, the 13th and 14th. We were scheduled to leave tomorrow to talk to the PUC. The PUC has refused to meet with us, and because we're a party to a lawsuit or a potential lawsuit, and we will not be allowed to participate in the hearing. So, City Attorney, where are we at?
Where we are is we're continuing our efforts to try and get a meeting with PUC commissioners, and in the event that the PUC does go forward tomorrow and approve the proposal advocated by the Office of Ratepayer Advocates for the 37.5% rate increase, we will be filing a petition for modification of that order, at which point we will be able to continue our efforts to lobby the PUC commissioners in order to seek the negotiated settlement amount of approximately 10% rate increase, which is still high, but far better than 37.5%. And we will undertake that effort immediately. But we'll be watching this very carefully and making sure that we take all available steps and remedies to support the ratepayers in Lancaster.
We have tried to get a meeting with the PUC, correct?
We have tried to get a meeting with every commissioner.
And how hard have we tried to do that?
We have followed each and every available avenue under the PUC code, submitting repeated requests for meetings to each of the commissioners, and have gotten zero response despite follow-up calls, emails, and every other method available to us to attempt to reach these commissioners and get a meeting to discuss this.
So if they're not meeting before their vote, what makes us think that they're going to do something different after their vote?
Redoubled efforts. We're going to seek the assistance of local legislators and see if we can get some pressure put on there. We're using every available means, and we will continue to do that.
Okay, we talked about a class action lawsuit prior. Mm-hmm. Where are we at with that?
A class is likely certifiable on this issue. It would have to be brought by the citizens. It would have to be a class action lawsuit by the citizens. The city of Lancaster would not be a party to that, but a class action by the citizens, we could certainly help organize it. We can help facilitate it, but we are not a ratepayer. We would not fall within the class.
So how else can we help these people? They're paying, my understanding is they're paying 305% above what their currently market rate is across the street.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
They're going to a 35% increase in that, which my calculations show that's 100% for the other side.
Yeah.
So none of this makes sense.
I agree. It's not something over which the city of Lancaster has control because we're not the rate-making entity. It's Cal Water through the PUC. Aside from assisting them to put together a class action, assisting those ratepayers to challenge this decision and make their voices known at the PUC, as we have continued to do in our briefings, in our legal notices, and our fights on their behalf, and continuing our efforts to lobby the PUC commissioners. The only other thing we can do is fight to take over the water company.
Okay. Mark, can we look into every avenue? We need to help these people. This is just way ridiculous.
No, absolutely. It's been exceptionally frustrating mostly for the people who have to pay it, that the game is stacked against them, but we still have some cards to play, so to speak. Absolutely.
Well, what makes it ridiculous, even if they reduce their water, like Robert told us that they need to do, they have a RAM charge. Mm-hmm. And that RAM charge, if they use a lot of water, the RAM charge goes down. If they save a lot of water, the RAM charge goes up. They're paying the same bill regardless, correct?
That's correct. Sorry. And what even makes it more ridiculous is the city of Lancaster, the council, vice mayor, mayor, other council members individually, worked with the water company to come up with an agreement that was acceptable to the water company that's requesting the rate increase, to the city council representing the citizens, and the city council talking to the citizens. And as the vice mayor said, the Office of Ratepayer Advocates, which they should give that name up, said no after a negotiated settlement.
Instead, they advocated for a 37% increase instead of the 10% we negotiated.
These people are supposed to be fighting for the taxpayers.
Correct.
And
That is their job.
We negotiated, it's basically a 6% the first year, okay, and then the rest, but 10% over
Total.
3 years.
Correct.
They said they want 37.5%.
Yes.
These are the people that are supposed to be representing us.
They're not doing a very good job with regard to Lancaster.
They basically told the company that they cannot make that arrangement, that they need to charge the 36%.
Yes.
Have we thought about maybe some articles up in the SAC-B?
I think they have enough articles about village idiots up there.
Yeah, but, I mean, it might put some pressure on the PUC, but...
Yeah, how does those people do they get appointed to the ratepayers advocacy? I mean, how do you get on there?
Good question.
Must be a bunch of, you think that they really are working with Cal Water.
The Office
under the table.
The Office of Ratepayer Advocacy is a subdivision or part of the bureaucracy of the Public Utilities Commission. It is paid for by our taxpayer dollars. Then you're supposed to advocate on behalf of ratepayers to ensure that the rates I said supposed to, I want to be clear. They are supposed to make sure that the rates charged to citizens of the state of California are fair and equitable. I would say in this instance they have failed.
And they all know Basic Math 101.
I don't think I can answer that question.
If I may, Vice Mayor, Jason Cottle has looked up the mission statement of the Office of Ratepayer Advocates.
Which is even funnier in light of the fact that they're a state agency. Their mission is...
Okay, could you try to do this with a straight face?
Right. I have a hard time doing anything with a straight face. Our statutory mission is to obtain the lowest possible rate for service consistent with reliable and safe service levels. In fulfilling this goal, the Office of Ratepayer Advocates advocates for customers and environmental protections.
We can't sue those guys too? I mean, they're not even they're not even lockstep with their mission statement.
Right.
I mean, if you negotiate the 10 over a period of 3 years, that's sure not 37.
Right, they're not even abiding by their own
they should
mission.
be named in the lawsuit too. That'd be interesting. Huh.
I will look into that.
Wouldn't that be interesting? That'd be interesting.
What's our lobbyist?
That's very interesting.
I thought we had, no, not anymore? No
No, we
lobbyists
work
anymore?
directly with both of our state legislators. Okay, let's move on. Let's stay on top of this. And they're not making the decision tomorrow. They're making it Thursday.
Excuse me, I misspoke. It is Thursday.
Okay. So we're going to go on to CA4. The mayor did have to leave. He has a obligation that he is meeting with some investors that are looking at building some facilities in Lancaster. He thought the meeting would be over, so we're going to do the rest of the meeting without him. But he wanted to discuss the task force to address inequities and distribution of regional funding for the homeless and other related social services in the Antelope Valley. I'll let him do that when he gets back. So Michael, did you want to speak anyway? Go ahead.
Vice Mayor Chris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I've spoken to you before about the homeless problems in the Antelope Valley and how it's a regional problem, not just a city problem. The Board of Directors of the Antelope Valley Healthcare District and the Finance Committee of Antelope Valley Hospital have the pleasure of my company. And the other night at one of their meetings, they were voting on an amendment to their ethics law. And sometimes it pays to be quiet, not talk. And I was listening, and I heard that the change in their bylaws was approved by the Board of Supervisors. And I got to thinking, so this entity, the Antelope Valley Healthcare District, is mandated by the state, but controlled by the Board of Supervisors of Los Angeles County, which means that it's a regional entity, and it's controlled by the LA County Board of Supervisors. And we're not getting the proper amount of money for our homeless program. Why don't we approach this on a regional basis and have the Antelope Valley Healthcare District go to the County of Los Angeles and request the money, since they're part of the county and the state. And this is something I'm going to pursue, because I believe that the healthcare district should be handling some of these homelessness and related social service problems in the Antelope Valley, not just Lancaster. And furthermore, the healthcare district could also promote programs like Michelle was talking about, that exclusively Lancaster, if they prove to be beneficial, they could be spread out in Palmdale, Acton, the whole Antelope Valley. Finally, I had an opportunity not long ago to talk with former Senator Tony Strickland and also State Senator Knight, and they are committed to helping us with the veterans' problems in the Antelope Valley when one of them becomes congressman next year. So that's a hopeful sign that maybe we can get some federal support, which I have failed to get in the past, because I've tried to promote a VA hospital or a VA inpatient facility up here, so hopefully we can get some congressional support for this in January and thereafter, for these problems can be faced. So I'm just filling you in on some of the things that I'm working on so that we can get funding for the homeless in Antelope Valley.
Michael, just as a disclaimer, you are running for the healthcare district?
Yeah, I'm one of the candidates, 4 candidates for the healthcare district board, and I just want to emphasize, if I am elected to the healthcare board, I expect that healthcare district board to be proactive, and I hope to take a leadership position on that board to help this community and handle some of these problems, not just with the hospitals, but with the social problems, because it is a regional entity. And these problems that we face are based on the region.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, CR1. Let's start with AVTA. Julie, I see your whole crew is here. I'm going to have a Wally Melendez speak. Lance, can you take her outside and discuss with her?
She already did once.
Okay, take her out again.
I was asking you, is CA4? I had a speaker card for CA2 and 3 and 4.
Wally Melendez. Okay. Julie, can you come up, please, and the rest of your crew?
I believe that Wally has left.
Okay. Appreciate it. That's the one that spoke earlier, that out of order. Tell us about the BYD buses and what they did, and let's start it off with a positive approach.
Okay. We did a marathon test in partnership with BYD over the weekend, leaving at 1:04 yesterday. With a full charge, the bus ran 240 miles around Rosamond and down to Palmdale Boulevard, which was amazing. As you know, this was fully loaded with sandbags, equating the weight of 35 150-pound people. And the air conditioning was on for most of the trips. So I believe they did 3 trips. The highest number of miles was 256 on a single charge. So it was just phenomenal. It blew us all away.
It's a record, correct?
Yes, it is a record. It's for the most miles traveled by an electric bus in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
Yep. And we did it.
Well,
Right.
congratulations. Thanks for bringing us.
Yes.
Okay. Who's the gentleman from Intelleride? Is this?
Ryan Larson is the president of Intelleride, who operates our Dial-A-Ride paratransit service.
Okay, here's the problem that is being addressed to us, that you have an individual that spoke, was asked a question, that individual was terminated, okay? What's the status of all this?
Okay, the question related to a driver from AVST who is a subcontractor to us. Their drivers are all independent contractors to them, and we specifically have standards related to drivers related to safety, customer service, and on-time performance to ensure a high quality of service for all Antelope Valley customers. We were asking the AVST folks that that particular driver be removed from service for us. We did not ask that she be removed from service from their company. That's an agreement between AVST and their specific subcontractor drivers, and that's a matter that they can discuss specifically if they need to.
Okay, you have, my problem is that if an individual comes up here and discusses a problem with us, and you end up terminating that driver because of that, people are going to be very hesitant coming up here and telling us what the problems are. They're not going to share their feelings with us, and we cannot solve the public's problem if you end up terminating everybody, and it's a problem for our city because we try not to do things like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Appreciate what...
So let's make sure it's done above board. Sandra, do you have anything?
No, I agree with our Vice Mayor. We definitely have an open dialogue in our community. We want to make sure that our citizens feel safe in all areas. And this is part of it, too, that they have the right to speak and be heard and to consider what is being said so that we can be proactive if needed. So one of the last things we want to show is that they aren't allowed to speak because there could be some punishment for that. So we don't even want that perception.
Okay.
Thank you.
And back to Julie.
Yes, sir.
You've done a wonderful job at AVTA. They're coming along great. I mean, everything is up. The facility looks great. Everything. You've done a wonderful job, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking outside the box. And thank you for having a vision and making it into reality. And to break the record here in our community, we're really very proud. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and a debt of gratitude to my staff and contractors who do a great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Ken, thank you. Do you have any sanitation?
No, I don't. We've actually taken a pass this last month on our meeting. Won't convene, I think, until September.
Any other reports on council members? Okay. No action on the Finance Authority, no action on the Power, no action on the Successor Agency. City Manager, do you want to talk about the fair?
Yes, I do, actually, but probably not the way people would all think. It occurred to me when I went away to school, I always made sure I came back for the fair, and I would bring people. I know a lot of you folks did too. Well, as a parent, I'm seeing that now with my daughter and my son. My son is coming back. He's bringing several people from his college, people that lived here and don't. And it's not just for the fair, but it's to reconnect with our community. And, you know, there'll be lots of people coming back this week, the next 10 days. You'll see them in restaurants, bars. My son is now 21, so I'm sure the bars will do a little better, too, with him and his friends. But it's about connecting with the community. So I think that people, when they think of the fair, it's not just the fair proper, it's what it does for our community. And the fair has been more exciting the last 2 years than it's ever been. And if folks have not been, they're missing out by not going to the Antelope Valley Fair. Great event. I have two more announcements. One, we had a really great grand opening today of the Cedar Theater. It was done exceptionally well. We have the pleasure of working with amazing people. And I want to particularly thank Elizabeth Brubaker and Rhonda Perez and their staffs for the wonderful job they've done on Cedar Theater. The facility looks amazing, but it's not just a facility. The programming in there is going to be exceptionally well done. When folks get their Outlook magazine this year, they're going to be so impressed with the different kinds of events and different kinds of classes they'll be able to take with a focus on youth, arts, etc. So exceptionally well done, and it's an asset that the community got back after being in the desert, so to speak, for 20 years. Last, the public will start to see over the next couple of weeks a lot of road work being done, overlays and such, I think up to 100 miles. But what won't be originally or easily noticeable, it will use the product that we are licensed to produce. So you'll see the product that we are producing in the city of Lancaster going on our roads. It's a superior product. It saves money, and we'll be able to do more roads for less money. And as other communities see this, we'll be able to sell that as well, too. I thank the Vice Mayor for sort of spearheading that with EcoStar and such, and the rest of the council have participated. So good week for the city of Lancaster this week.
Good week. Thank you. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council, agency, and authority on non-agendized matters. Please complete a speaker card, which can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to the City Manager.
Jason Zink.
I just want to make a suggestion for a public works project is 20th Street East between Avenue K and Avenue I. There's no bike lanes or anything, and that's the center of East Lancaster. And also there's not a bus bench on the south west corner of the Stater Brothers Shopping Center. Also, the Lancaster Boulevard, I think there needs to be a new campaign that says it's Antelope Valley's Boulevard, because a lot of people that don't live in Lancaster feel that it's your guys' boulevard. And when I grew up in Lancaster, it was always our boulevard, the Antelope Valley's Boulevard. And I like that, that's taste of your senses, but just needs to be, I think there needs to be a campaign. And I think if you get more people in, that's like my idea of bringing in Little Rock 1 week during Farmers Market and other communities, and letting them kind of show, what they have. You could create more commerce between the communities. Also, the hospital that was built, it's weird. You spend $160 million, but yet all around it is tumbleweeds, and there's no trees or anything along the sidewalks going around it. If this facility was built in Santa Clarita, or
You're talking about the Kaiser?
No, I'm talking about LA County.
The one on Avenue I?
Yeah. If it was in Santa Clarita or Porter Ranch, there'd be a right rail fence, there'd be trees and bushes, and it just wouldn't be a building and then vacant land all the way around it, And the same thing with the prison. I don't know why we love these eyesores in this community, in Palmdale too. LED light signs, I'm glad to see that you guys got that, and I appreciate that. I also would like to see a big move between the county and the state of Caltrans and Palmdale. And my friend's mother died from a person that went on the freeway the wrong way. And, that could have stopped that from happening, having those don't enter LED light signs. And if this guy can build these things right here on the carts on Lancaster Boulevard, certainly we could be able to create because I looked for those signs. I didn't find anyone in the state that manufactures them. Why can't we manufacture these in Lancaster? The other thing is I always hear you guys for 20-some years talk about how we're the stepchildren, how we're always getting robbed, how we have disenfranchised. Like the sewer board and the water board, I feel disenfranchised because there's no one that you're accountable to. There's no elected officials. Yeah, you got one representative from Palmdale, Lancaster, but I feel disenfranchised. When are we going to form an Antelope Valley Community Service District? Take over the waterworks, take over the sewer, take over all these things. Why can't we have an advisory measure on the November ballot, Palmdale, Lancaster, asking its citizens, is it time for you guys? Is it ready for us? Are we growing up enough with 400,000+ people to say, let's create our own destiny? Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Kurt Boyer.
Thank you so much. This took a little longer than I had anticipated, but I'm glad I stayed. The statement that you made about the mayor's concern about the homeless, I'll address that in a minute. I wanted to legitimize myself slightly. For almost 30 years, my career has been designing and installing major distribution and manufacturing facilities similar to Rite Aid and Michaels. The client account goes from Golden State Foods to McDonald's to Northrop, Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas. In fact, I put in the small parts and installed and designed the small parts facility for the B-2 bomber. That was the first time I came out in this area, and there was nothing here. The place has grown immensely. I've changed my direction, and I've spoken here a few times. I was hoping the mayor would be here. But I'm now on the board of directors of a local medical clinic called Bart's Altadena. A few people are familiar with that clinic. It's a wonderful facility. It's nonprofit. It services the homeless, the mentally ill, the addicted. It is a nonprofit organization. And the service, in comparison to some of the facilities that are based in this Antelope Valley area, is incredible. You do not wait 60 days for an appointment. If they need to see you, they will see you in 2 days. If your test results come in a week, you get an appointment. We are challenging the community to some degree. We're working with a lot of the other charitable organizations. Grace, we just dealt with the senior center, and they're very interested in our services. And it's only been around for about 2.5 years. It was part of Catalyst, and you're probably familiar with that, and it's split out from them. But the service is wonderful. And what I'm trying to do, because I've been here and I've spoken a couple of times, I'm trying to find a way to connect with the city. It's good enough for us to go out to the individual private organizations and other nonprofit organizations and tie in with them. But we'd like to have the opportunity to be able to speak to someone, assign myself or the organization, to be able to talk to somebody in the city, rather than me just getting up here for 3 minutes, every other week. And in our mind, it's an old saying, but to judge a society is based on how they treat their weakest members. And that's our goal. We will get them insurance. We will do everything they need to get them proper service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, you had another comment in regards to the fair?
Job fair, I'm sorry.
Job fair?
Yeah, I forgot to mention, I apologize. Next year, to the mayor and council, jobs have been very important, not just big recruitments, but trying to do job fairs and reach out to people. And I applaud the efforts. Next Thursday at City Park, we're going to have a job fair where there's 50 employers that are going to be there. You have to register to do it, so people that plan ahead get first preference. But each one of those 50 employers had to guarantee they had a minimum of 5 open jobs. So that's 250 jobs minimum that people are there offering. So you can go to the city's website, you can register. You have to register if you want to come to a fair, but you bring your resume. It's not a resource fair, it's a job fair with people there with jobs, and a list of companies is on the website. So I think that's another example of some of the multifaceted approach you all have towards trying to help people.
Thank you. Dorothy Mattson. Dorothy was going to speak on the Dial-A-Ride and AVTA. I did send her with the AVTA people earlier in the meeting, so they might have got it situated. Judy Hist?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Smith, or Chris. I'm sorry, I apologize. It was a slip of the tongue.
Vice Mayor Christ, council members and staff. I'm Judy Hist. I'm the library manager at the Lancaster Library. Effective September 2nd, we are returning to the hours that we had when we were open in 2009, 2010. So I just wanted to let you know what the new hours will be. We're going to be open Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and we will be closed on Sundays. This county librarian should be sending out a letter with that information and with more detail to probably, if you've not already received it, but it should be coming at some time this month. But we're very pleased that we are able to open again an extra day during the week for the public. Thank you.
Judy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Denise Latanzi. Welcome, Denise.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council. I actually came here tonight for a great reason. I came here to thank you guys, particularly the mayor who jumped in at the last minute and helped United Desert Charities and our partners with the backpack drive that we organized last Saturday in Lancaster. Thank you to Mark Bazigian for coming out and for making sure that we had some extra resources out there because it grew beyond our wildest dreams. We had about 1,500 children out there in the park, and to Lee DeRico, who also came out, the city's Parks Department, who helped us out quite a bit towards the end of it. It's amazing to see what the city can do even when you don't expect an event to grow as large as this one did. So I cannot thank you guys enough for what you did. The two nicest sheriff's deputies in the world were out there with us, so make sure... No, but he's pretty darn nice, but please make sure that they get our thank you. It was pretty amazing what they were. The city's parks rangers that were out there were just amazing. It's a lot to deal with when you have 1,500 children running around in the park, but it was a blast. We had a great time. Unfortunately, we only brought about 600 backpacks out because we didn't expect it, but we've already committed to 2,000 next year, and we already have a fundraising plan and partners to do that with Walgreens. So we just wanted to come and thank you guys for allowing us to do this. Thank you for providing some support to us through this process, and especially thank you for providing more support than we thought that we were going to need. So,
Denise, tell us about what you do, about who the backpacks go to, how you raise the money, that kind of stuff.
Well, we raised the money at United Desert Charities. We purchased the backpacks or collected them. The mayor stepped in at the last minute because we knew that we were going to have to grow the program. We just didn't know how much. So he stepped forward with the $700 donation at the very last minute to purchase 150 more backpacks. So we put together a capital fundraising plan at the beginning of every year that includes all of the programs that we run, including this particular backpack event. And we're already, like I said, we're already looking towards doing it next year. But interestingly enough, the way that we raise our money is through bingo. We're very, very successful at it, and we're pretty proud of it. So we are 100% self-funded. This program was targeting low-income children in Lancaster and Eastside School District. We already run a program in these school districts called Clothes for Kids that provides free clothing to children in K through 6th grade. So this was kind of a natural expansion of that program for us. And it looks like it's going to be, we're going to be committing more and more resources to it every year.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much.
David Paul. David, I will save you for last so we can end with a positive note. That was pretty positive, so you're going to have to beat that.
Mr. Vice Mayor and Council, good evening. That was positive, and I want to just get up and say that it makes me remember why I love our city. What a great town. You know, this has been a rough 24 hours for me because the death of Robin Williams affected me. What a genius. And to lose him to depression and suicide is particularly difficult because there are things that can help depressed people, and he should have had access to the best care, but we will miss him. What a genius. You know, I was thinking, too, about our water situation. what the city needs is a mascot to promote the fact that we're running short of water, kind of like a reverse Noah figure walking the streets to just drum up some attention. So that's an idea, and to get control of our own water someday. But you know, there's so much going on in the world. There's the Ukraine, there's Gaza, there's North Africa is erupting, sub-Saharan Africa is in turmoil, and of course Iraq. And then in our own country, you know, we're losing control of our water system with the blooms of algae. It's remarkable. The city I used to live in, Toledo, had 400,000 people just lose their access to water because Lake Erie was too green from fertilizer runoff. So there are certainly problems that exist, and some of them are beyond the scope of our city to solve, but we do our best and we try. You know, one thing that's heartened me lately was in June, the last time I was here at the end of the June meeting, I talked about my friend the Navy SEAL who's on duty to protect this country, a local hometown hero, and it was exciting that night for me because that was the first time ever, I think, that our city had an active duty SEAL team watching our city council meeting on a foreign mission. And I would like to see, I think the situation is possible for us to adopt our own SEAL team by proclamation, and I'd like someone, you know, to consider that and get some of these heroes in here and recognize them when they come back, because it's a tough world and they exemplify the best, that's for sure. You know, what we fight for against these terrorists, these Taliban and ISIS and people that want to take us back to the 7th century, I don't think they understand that I don't see any Robin Williams coming out of those societies. It's the freeness of our society that promotes the genius and lets it flourish like that. And the sad thing about it is those guys don't even understand what that means. So God bless America, God bless y'all, and I love my city. Thank you, everybody.
David, thank you. Thank you for your comments. We're not going to go into closed session, so we'll take that off the agenda. I'm going to close the Housing Authority meeting until August 26th at 5 p.m., and I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Mann.
Thanks, Marvin. Tonight, we're going to adjourn the City Council meeting in the memory of Art Akizian, and I want to briefly speak a little bit about Art. You know, he taught mathematics here, and then went on to open up a famous business on Lancaster Boulevard called the Westerner, and him and his wife, Marilyn, owned and operated the Westerner for close to 30 years. Art was a good friend of mine, and one of the things that we have so much to owe him, because if we take a look at this building, everybody's sitting here tonight. Some of us are not quite probably steep with history about some of the things that Art did do, but he was part of the original 8 individuals that got us cityhood here in Lancaster. And there's a plaque on the boulevard to commemorate those 8 people. And we can famously say that if it wasn't for Art and the other 7 individuals, we'd all be out of a job. And so dearly I know that a lot of people were touched by Art. He was involved in charity. Desert Haven was one of the soft spots in his heart. His family's here tonight. Doug, his son, his wife Karen, and Art's daughter Allison. So if Doug and Allison, if you would come up, I would like to give you this commemorative certificate and the fact that we are adjourning the meeting tonight in your dad's honor.
Ken, which one did Art want to become a Republican?
He actually, the last week, I think, if I got the story straight, he asked the pastor if he would, he said, don't worry about me. You need to go talk to Allison and see if you can get her converted over to a Republican. That sounds like the Art that I know.
The big goal in life.
Right.
And his grandchildren, I was at the funeral, and they spoke very well. You've done a wonderful job with them, and you should be congratulated on them. Art was a great guy in our community. He gave us all great advice, and it was a privilege to shop in his store. You really knew you were being taken care of when you shopped in his store. Great individual, and we'll miss him.
We will. Thank you.
So, City Council stands adjourned till August 26th at 5 p.m.